Um, it's
I think
just as organised as it used to be, I suppose. just, just,
zero
just,
organisation.
just about.
Right, I think we're going. I believe we're
Okay,
live.
okay,
So,
right.
welcome everybody to Tuesday Pat Chat with myself, Nick Kills, and my good friend.
Zaheer, how are you, Nick? You know what? It couldn't have been a more typical start, though, could it? I mean,
Yeah,
you
I lost track of time and
yeah,
set this up literally about 5 minutes ago, and then Zahir couldn't log in.
yeah. Then I had to restart the computer. So it's just, yeah, it was just like the old times, really. Um, yeah. So I just thought it would be a good idea. Obviously, like with Nick, we thought we'd do like a little retro tat chat. We haven't done one for absolutely ages. I think it's been, I can't remember when the last one was, but it's got to be about a year ago now, surely.
I don't know. I was
Yeah,
thinking earlier that
yeah.
time, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but time just goes so far.
It's
And
yeah.
yeah, I don't know where this year has gone. Has it really been a year since we stopped doing the regular chat?
Oh
It must
God,
be.
I it must be. I think it must be. Yeah. But yeah, it's good to be back on the channel and doing like an old school chat. And there's a lot of people in the chat also
Yeah, let's
agreeing.
say hello.
It
So we've got Richard, Hale, Derek. Yeah, hi again, Derek. We were both chatting with Derek earlier. George, Tuesday Tat Chat. Am I dreaming? No, it's happening. It's happening. Back to the old school. Chris, hey Chris, good to see you. Becca Faduke. I can actually say that correctly as well now.
I know. Did you call her Fedi UK at all? No.
Probably.
I did. I
I
did.
think so.
I just remember that. I was like, no.
Eric is in. Welcome. Big supporter of the channels. So yeah, I'm just going to run down and flash everyone up who's popped in to say hello. Hello. There's Mary there. BCP. James. Sazguest. Hello. So yeah, welcome. We don't really have a plan. Oh, Tommy
No.
says,
Yeah.
"Yay!"
Yeah. It's. I suppose it's just. If anything, it
I
can be
do.
like a look back on, like, there's so much has happened this year. Like so much has, since like we did the last chat, even just on eBay alone, like the amount of changes that have happened on it and how it's changed like how we operate. Like I remember just like yesterday that we were chatting about, oh yeah, no, it's best to do your listings on a 10-day cycle, and then you could end them and relist them because you get
Yeah,
three do you that wasn't that long ago. It
yeah,
actually wasn't that long ago, but now it seems like eons ago.
yeah. I remember
Because of the good, yeah.
switching from good till cancel to 30-day, and then switching to 10-day, and that made a big difference to our business model. And now,
Mm,
obviously, that's we don't even have the option anymore, as
no.
we're all well aware. So yeah, a lot has changed. And I was thinking before we set this up and went live that what has happened in the reseller community, because it's like night and day just in a
Mm,
year or so. When you think about how many new people have come in and made a big impact, both in America, you've got like Tommy and Tracy, and in Australia, their scene has exploded. It
yeah.
feels like overnight.
It but it's
And
I suppose it has it been overnight though, or has it been because of all the like the bubbling away? Like obviously people would have seen the content from the US, and then they would have seen the content from the UK, and it's so nice to see like people that have been, like obviously the big name that just pops into everyone's head straight away for me anyway is George, because George was in the chats for
yeah,
so long, like and I actually used to imagine George as, because he's so into his like vintage stuff and his hi-fi. I imagined him as like a middle-aged guy, and I've never really said this, but I honestly thought he was probably some nice bloke. So not that
yeah,
he's not a nice bloke; he's a nice bloke. Don't get me wrong, but I imagine him to be like a lot older. And then
yeah.
like he pops on like with his little baby face and perfect hair, and it's just like, wow, I did not expect that, and it
I
was
know,
just
right?
amazing.
It is funny because you're right. We see a lot of names, and we have done many for years. and in many cases we have no idea what they look like. See, but you form a picture just so you
Yeah,
can relate them in your mind.
because he used to always like comment whenever I do like a hi-fi or like an amp or anything like vintage hi-fi, and like George would be in the chat and he'd be excited about it, and I'd always like, you know, you notice certain things, don't you? And then like, you know, he's into his vintage and retro, and there's it just shows that I've got like a connotation of who's into vintage and retro, which isn't true because
Well,
anyone
yeah,
can be into vintage and retro, can't they?
it's so easy to make assumptions. It
Oh
is.
yeah,
Um,
completely.
I was just going to say a few more hellos while I see them. Hi, Pete's
Sure.
Retro Collectibles. Lex. Oh, so retro. What's it like to be part of the old guard?
Oh, it's that's the other thing as well, because of the, you know, the growth of everything, and well, the growth of everything because because of the growth of the community, still just as sloppy with words. Um, it has made it feel like there's like the old generation, isn't it? And then there's the new generation of channels, and it kind of makes you feel like that. Like, oh wow, it's amazing. And when people are like, you know, making videos and you know, and being inspired to make channels because you've been making videos, it's amazing. And now it's got to the stage where people are seeing the newer generation of channels and getting inspired by those, and then starting channels as well. So it's just, it's happened really quickly, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
it
like
yeah.
when Ben came on the scene a couple of years back and really nailed it for I don't know how long he was making content, a year and a half, maybe 2 years or something, and then decided that was it. And people were finding the community through Ben, and then finding the likes of us,
Yeah, like
and
going
that's
back
happening.
like a reverse type of, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So it's like we
amazing.
we help to inspire some of these people, and then they're bringing new people in, and in many cases a younger generation. Because let's face it, at least me, I'm old.
But you learn so much from it as well, though, don't you? Like, what I would class us in like the similar like age range. You know, like you know, He-Man, I know He-Man. You know, that's pretty. You know, that's about the same, right? So I'm kind of like, and then you know, you learn so much though, because they bring a lot of different stuff, like the different things that people are into, you know, the just the different styles of items that they pick up, the different, how they adapt to the different platforms, like, you know, using Depop and stuff. I've only really started looking into it since George has been, you know, I know it's been out there before, but because George has kind of bridged that for me in a way, it made it
Mm.
more, I was able to relate to it because I'm like not that far from him, although I am. There's like a good decade difference. I felt like I
Well,
could still connect with his thinking to in terms of Depop, whereas I'd struggle with, say, like a teenager telling me like how great Depop is and how much money you can make on it by flipping vintage stuff. You
exactly.
know,
And
yeah,
the point is that everyone has a slightly different ways of approaching this. And yeah, you can get inspired by just about anyone. And I'm chatting a lot with Rod and Drew down in Australia, and I've been on a few of their hangouts. And I get inspired on a daily basis by them and just their methods, their enthusiasm, their take on it. Likewise with George and other new resellers in the UK. They're just
yeah,
fresh. It's just different.
yeah.
Because I share what I do, and it changes a little bit, but I'm just me bumbling around
You,
doing the
you
same old, right?
I think
And
that's one thing I want to just touch on, like, and I think you said it there perfectly. Like, don't you feel like sometimes, like, why is it that people even want to see me just do the same thing again? And but if anyone's out there that's thinking about making videos and hasn't yet, look at all of us. We're all doing the same thing, but you do it ever so slightly different every day, and I think that's what.
yeah, and it does evolve. It's hard when you're in the
Mm,
middle of it to see it
yeah.
evolve, but sometimes I do, and you should do this. Go back like 2 or 3 years and look at your videos, and you'll go, "Whoa, what was I
What?
doing?
Yeah, yeah,
What
complete.
was I talking about?"
I actually did that the other day, more ashamedly more just to see how fat or thin I was, because I
You
So
should do a compilation
I do,
with the hair as well.
yeah, the hair and yeah, it's all like, yeah, it's pretty much. So I do that, and you're right. You look back and you think, like now I look back at the bubble wrap I used, and that still makes me laugh. But also the
Just
stuff
keeping
I was
going.
picking up, the stuff, and how I was tracking the stuff and what I was. I think it really helped me recently when like when sales have been tougher, and it really helped me to go back and look at what I was so grateful for before. And I remember coming onto YouTube being absolutely beaming because I'd had like a £500 sales week or something, because that
Yeah.
was such a milestone from, as I was growing the store and getting more and more confident, and that was a huge milestone, and I was beaming, and then like it gave me a sense of context, and just to put things into place, really. And I think that's a really great thing about having a YouTube channel. I think is your memory plays tricks on you. You never remember things correctly. I mean, do you find that like?
Yeah, because we're only kind of as good as our last sale or our last
Mm,
week or whatever. But we should, and I try and do this, is take a year at a time if you can, or 6 months section at a time. And I know you've been doing this, comparing
yeah,
week on week from a year ago, that sort
yeah,
of thing, or year. And I think that is helpful because naturally things will go up and down week on week, month on month. But as long as you're improving or getting better at what you do year on year, then you're heading in the right direction. And yeah, nothing happens overnight, and we have
no,
to work it out as we go. I
definitely.
highlighted Cara in there. She says she used to love the chat chat. I'm not sure how
No,
we said that.
now not so much.
No, not so sure.
This is going to be like one of those things where you used to enjoy it, and then you go back to it and you're like, nah, it was some,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we stopped that for a reason. But I just wanted to share this. Karen,
yeah.
bless her, sent this massive
Oh wow,
birthday card. Look at that.
that is amazing. I feel so. I did apologize. I'm gonna say it again. Sorry, I
Oh,
forgot the
no,
birthday, man. It's like,
seriously.
I'm
Don't
so
worry about it.
terrible. I'm just the worst when it comes to birthday. Don't anyone expect birthday wishes from me. If you do, it's a bonus. Um,
So thank you so much, Karen. That was a huge surprise this morning.
that is lovely.
Um, oh, Sue is in as well. Oh no, sorry, I thought that was Auntie Sue. Sorry, that's Sue Curiosity Inc. Different Sue to the one who was. It's weird that Auntie Sue was in my office a week or so back.
I think that's the other major thing, I suppose, that we can touch on is like how the meetups are becoming more and more consistent as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, well, there's so many of us that it's beyond a kind of YouTube friend thing, and
Yeah.
it's all bled over into the real world. Not that there's a distinction, but it sometimes feels like there is. And yeah, the meetup really. The weird thing about the meetup this time was it didn't feel weird, and even meeting new people didn't feel weird. I've kind of got used to the whole thing now, and there were so many people there I'd already met that we all kind of hit the ground running, and it was. I don't know. It was a mad evening, really, when you look at it. But so much fun. And Steve was there. Says hi, Nick and Z. Have they both swapped sides? I don't know. Did we used to be?
I can't remember.
It used to flash
Didn't
from
it?
one to the other.
That's
With the
we
voice.
used to use Google Hangouts, didn't we? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It used to be full screen, and when someone would talk, it would. Yeah, we didn't used to have side by side.
No. So I could wait until you were having a rant about something or whatever, and then blow my nose or go and get a drink. Now I have to do it all on screen.
Yeah.
Because my allergies have gone so bad again because I've been cleaning. Oh, I cleaned that bagatelle board, which sold today, which was fantastic.
The
And
what? Sorry.
The bagatelle board. Did I share? I don't know if I shared with you this thing. That.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's huge. But I've actually made a video of me repairing and cleaning it, so you've got that to look forward to.
Super, super.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I listed it at the top end price. There was one available at about 48 plus shipping. I'll just put this on at 50, which was more than they've been achieving, and it sold within 24 hours. So because I'd cleaned it and repaired it, I think it made the difference.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Is it going overseas or is it a UK
No,
sale?
I think it's going up north of UK somewhere,
Oh, okay.
Leicestershire maybe.
I've just had a similar sale within 24 hours. That Globe has just sold. I took an offer
Mm.
for it, but I don't think I'm going to get paid for it. But having looked at my ridiculous shipping price, it's not as ridiculous as it originally seemed. I knew it. I knew it.
Right.
Like I took an offer of 120 on it. It's I paid like £3 or £2 for it.
No
It's,
way.
it's an inflatable globe. It's like a beach ball, but because it's old, I managed to date it. But I found a website which told me the rough date range it would be because Tanzania is known as Tanganyika. There's a pro tip for you guys. So if your globe has Tanganyika instead of Tanzania, it means it's from 1946 to 61. So it can date your globe.
Tanza- Tanzania.
Tang, yeah, Tanzania is Tanganyika.
Oh
Or
wow.
yeah, so that's
That's
something to know.
cool.
And so, but yeah, so took an offer of 120. Shipping to the US, by the way, guys, I did put what I thought was quite a high shipping amount, but I've dealt with international shipping long enough to know that if you're doing your own track shipping, it can surprise you. So I put the shipping on at 100. So which seems like a lot of money, right? But I did like a test in a box, put it in a box because of the size and the shape of the stand and the weight of the stand. It's actually like 80 odd quid for shipping. So, yep, it's only a 3 kilo with the stand. Like the stand with shipping would only be about a 3 kilo parcel, so not even a heavy parcel. But because of the dimensions of the box,
Yep.
bam, it just skyrockets. If it was to Europe, it would be significantly cheaper. Um,
Yeah.
but
Well, space is a
yeah,
premium when you think about an airplane. It's
yeah.
very limited space.
So yeah, that's
Wow. I'm just
worth
surprised it was worth that much. It just doesn't look anything. It's just
I know the globes are crazy. Yeah, it just the older the better, obviously. But
yeah.
it's a Hammond globe and they're inflatable. And like I said, I found this really helpful website just by googling like date your globe type thing. Date age my
Hmm.
globe, and it tells you all the times during history when countries have changed names and
That's
whatnot.
such a clever
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, because
yeah,
all of the changes in Eastern Europe you could date all the way
yeah,
through the sort of
yeah.
the last
Exactly.
century.
So if there's no Israel, then you know it's pre 1948. Again,
Yeah.
that can ramp the price up significantly, etc. So
Wow.
he hasn't paid yet, the guy. So I'm hoping he'll appreciate that. It does cost about that much when you think about
Yeah.
it. But
Have you
it,
messaged him? Because we had that
yeah,
non-payer for a car
mm,
park for 150 yesterday, and we sent
yeah,
him 2 or 3 messages just saying, keep trying, because he was
yeah,
saying he couldn't pay, and we thought, sounds like BS. It's
yeah.
the old, oh, I can't pay.
Those
Oh,
car parts are just incredible, aren't they? Like
yeah,
you
it's
just
mad.
it's just like lucky dip, like you said, isn't it? Just
Oh, it's great.
reach in and
Before we move on, just want to say,
mm.
apparently you're more popular in America these days, so that you left us
I'm
behind.
Oh,
You're in Hollywood
do you know what this is all Tommy and Tracy's fault.
with your
With
new
their
fancy
with
American friends.
oh they're just I don't know. I've had these really bad sleep patterns, and Tommy and Tracy are just bad influences. But they're really good people. They are just so much fun. And what they've done, what I'll say is, it just shows that you never know what your role. Don't look for a role in the community, kind of thing. Because Tommy and Tracy have just come along and they've just magically created a role almost where they're so good at networking and bringing people together. Like I'm actually going to be on a chat with Ronnie tomorrow night. It's
Yes,
going to
I
be
heard.
it's at 9 o'clock, so there's a bit of an overlap with you and Pete, but timings with the US are so
Well, Pete
yeah,
messaged me, and I
yeah,
think he was a bit
yeah,
concerned about that. And I
yeah,
said, to be
yeah,
honest, now the
yeah.
community is so big,
So and
just pick an hour and go because
exactly. Otherwise, you'll never be, and it's difficult to arrange. But that's all thanks to Tommy and Tracy. Like Tommy's like so he's like an octopus. He just and then, like the Australian community you mentioned. I mean,
mm,
before we just knew of Rod, and that was it. And that's nothing wrong with that. We love Rod, right? So Rod's great. If anyone hasn't seen him being attacked by a frog snake, by the way, have you seen that clip?
yeah, he,
Oh,
he sent me the
oh,
clip.
yeah. Just genius, isn't it? It's just genius.
I love
Um,
Drew just wet himself laugh. There's no
yeah.
concern. It's just,
My favorite part though is when Drew's like, "Is it a snake?" Like, "Ah, it's a snake, isn't it?" And then when Rod says, It's
It's a
a
frog.
frog, and it's like it looks like a snake when it's jumping at you. That's you couldn't make that up, could you? You couldn't. I just
Brilliant.
couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
But it's just
You
crazy
are
how
you are
it's.
so right though, and going back to, don't try and be someone, or don't try and
Mm,
fill a role. And I think what Tommy and Tracy do is they're just natural and relaxed live, because
yeah,
although this looks easy, it's
it's
really not, to
yeah.
be to make it relaxed and welcoming, and keep a conversation flowing, and just be chilled about it. And that they go live for hours on end, and
They and I think
they just
it's
keep it
it.
going.
They've got that connection because they do resell, but the show is literally just about them, and I think that's sometimes what people appreciate though. But I mean, and I think you put out obviously a lot of reselling content on your channel, but you're when you go live with Andrea, it's about you guys as much as it is about the reselling, isn't it? And so it's like
Yeah.
everyone gets all the cool reselling content and all the what sold videos during the week, etc. But then on the Sunday night, everyone knows they're just gonna chill out. And I think that it's the same with Beck and myself on a Friday. We can. I like to think we do some kind of reselling content, but like it's not about that as much. It's more about the catch up, isn't it? It's like the online water cooler moment, and it's now evolved where the online water cooler moment has now progressed into these meetups that are happening more and more frequently. Which,
Yeah.
if I've been saying since going to Hitchin, I've just been saying to people, look, if you get a chance to go to one, just go to one. It doesn't matter whether you make videos or not. It doesn't matter whether you even resell or not. If you just have an interest in this community, just
Well, that the
yeah,
beauty of those, I think, is that there is a common thread. So if you're
yeah.
feeling stuck for something to talk about, you just say, "How are your sales?" Or there's so many lines into a chat, because I'm
Mm,
not actually very comfortable socially, particularly with people I don't already know. But
mm.
at a reseller thing, or just say, spot a reseller and go, "Oh, I watch Zaheer's videos. Do you?" There's a way in, and we've all got that common thread of the YouTubers we all know and reselling. So
Yeah.
everyone's got something to talk about, and it really is that easy. And then you have a couple of beers, and it's all
and
fun.
and the amazing thing about the meetup as well was we actually met people that were mostly like Instagram type thing. So we actually spent a lot. I spent a lot of time chatting to someone that's mostly Instagram, doesn't even comment on YouTube, which is a shame. But it was so cool to meet and chat, and you find that you got stuff in common, and you can talk for ages. It was brilliant. So, really did enjoy that.
Good. I'm so glad you both made it as well. Alexis, hi there. KIT Enterprises, first time live. Nick and Andrew Hills, nice to meet you. Z, nice to see you here. Congrats on the followers milestone.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. We recently broke. Yeah, thanks to George Ross. Actually,
Yeah,
we recently topped the 5,000 subscribers, which is
that's
which
an
is
achievement and a
incredible.
half. That's
Which
cool.
is incredible. I'm so chuffed.
Carla, I know I'm behind in the chat. Carla, hi Carla, good to see you. I definitely thought George was like mid-50s. Love
Thank you,
that.
Carla. I didn't want to say that, Carla, but thanks, Carla, for putting it in writing. I was saying middle aged, but that's kind of what I was thinking, and then it
Well,
just blew my mind that he's just a young guy who's into vintage.
so some I can't think of any examples now, but some people that have followed the channel for years and just have like a little, don't have their face on their little symbol, and
Mm.
have a name that could mean anything. I've thought of them in my head as a man, and then like you find out on Instagram or something, it's a young woman or something, or it's like,
You're
and your
like, yeah,
picture
it's
is
like,
just
yeah,
wrong, totally
yeah.
wrong. Yeah. Oh, Adrian Zim, what's he saying? Greetings all. Can't stay long as at work. Yeah, get back to work, Adrian. Skyver.
Oh, chat's gone. Wow, we've got over 180 people, Nick. That's incredible.
Nice.
Thank you, everyone, for popping in and saying hi. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, this is nice to do a little meet up again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many we did. I think we had a good couple of year run, didn't we? That was it that
Like you
long?
said though, it's not as easy as it looks. I'm not saying that to, I'm really not saying that because it tries to make me sound like, oh, this is, this is not for everybody. It is for everybody, and it is easy, but it's not easy to maintain that consistency. You know, I think the consistency is the difficult thing, and I think it was, you know, it was just time for a break, if anything, you know. So just
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think you have to change things up as well.
yeah.
I think we were both feeling like it was a bit Groundhog Day, and
Well,
yeah,
but again, this is things changed at the time. Like when we started it, I think we were probably. I can't really think of any other regular chat that was happening at the time. So
no.
it was just us two chatting to each other on behalf of everyone that was watching,
Wow.
which is kind of weird when you think
Isn't
about
that
it.
hard to imagine now that we were?
Yeah, just
I don't know if even in the US. I think
there was Ronnie and Chad that used to do the Pickers
yeah.
Church. Yeah,
I don't know if
they
they're
had
still
that going
doing it.
on. No, that stopped a while back,
Hmm.
a while back. But yeah, um,
But that's the beauty. One of the other beauties of YouTube is it is totally open to anybody. Anybody watching now could make the decision right now. I'm going to just do it. Not Peter Cummins has come into the community and is making
yes.
really interesting,
Oh, I
short,
love pizza.
concise,
Yeah, pizza.
daily. I think he's still doing daily videos. I
Yeah,
do find it hard to watch all of it, I'll be
yeah.
honest. And, you know, that's sometimes all it takes.
Again, that was another name that that you used to see in the chat so much, and it's
Yeah.
brilliant when people kind of. I'm not saying that everyone should eventually start a channel or anything, but I'm saying if you want to, you most certainly should.
Yeah.
And yeah, Peter says yes, daily 10-minute vids.
Oh, it's Peter. Hi. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the vinegar jar. So
yeah,
click through on the vinegar jar and go and sub. Let's give Peter a few more subs. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that it's been so long now for myself and Andrea. It's hard to imagine our life without this big YouTube part of it in it, because it informs so much of what we do. A massive part of our social life is now all to do with YouTube.
yeah,
Huge. We sat there the other night thinking about it, and most of the friends we talk to on a daily basis, most are through YouTube. We chat on Messenger and text, and most of those people are YouTube friends.
yeah.
Just that.
It's grown. I mean, it's and it almost never happened when you were starting your first upload. I still remember you almost had a moment where your first upload wasn't working, and you're about,
I must have tried. I was recording it live into YouTube, not as a live broadcast, and I would rabbit on about "Hello, I'm Nick" in my little office, blah blah blah, and then it would crash after about 10 minutes. And I did it 5 times, and I think I swore my head off, and I said, "This is the last effing time I'm trying to pop the YouTube website load of crap. If this doesn't work, that's it." And it went through, and it worked.
you could have done with the dolphin sound effect there and
Oh,
beeped.
damn it!
Oh gosh.
Oh,
I
I can hear that outside. Santa's arrived. The local round table go round on a big sleigh with Santa on.
oh
I can hear them right
we
outside the door.
we had our Christmas fair yesterday in the town, and they were meant to do it today as well. It's normally 2 days, and because the weather has been so bad, they had to cancel it. So it was a bit of a bummer. But we went out last night, and it was really nice. And yeah, they have like a little parade going through, people on stilts and stuff.
Yeah, I can. Andrew's just gone to the door. They're raising funds for round table.
Oh. She sells seashells. Says, question: do you just do one a year usually?
Oh, I've highlighted the wrong thing.
No, I don't know where it is
Oh,
in relation to that
well,
comment.
there's
But yeah.
Andrea.
Just give us a little bit of money just to give to Santa.
Oh, from my boot sale change pot. There you go. There's a few quid there.
Yeah. No, it's not one a year. We used to do this weekly, and then we took a break, and that's where it is now.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, there's Andrea. Hi all. You were doing the Tat Chat on Thursday to start with, way back when you could only use our awful laptop webcam, and you'd disappear into darkness in the garden.
I remember that. That was so funny.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can.
They're playing the Pogues. Bizarre. Yeah, there was a while because we had our Macs down at. This was when we tried setting up that clothing shop, and all I had at home was Ellen's laptop with a pathetic little webcam in. So I had to go and use natural light outside, and then it got dark.
And Yorkshire Seller says Olympus Mu 1 prices are creeping up. Sold one in a day for £55. Yorkshire Reseller, believe it or not, guys. Everyone says like Mewtwo. This was the guy that actually mentioned it. Yorkshire Reseller. It was the one to share the value in certain 35mm cameras, and he's got another tip there. So if you see even an original Mew, I think most people tend to pick them up now.
Yeah.
If you see a 35mm film Mew camera,
I can't even
most of them are.
these comments.
I'm on top chat. I'll need to go to live chat as well.
Simon's in. Hi, Nick and Z. Good to see you again on a Tuesday evening. Welcome back to the time slot. It's just a one-off with a view to continuing on Tuesdays. We're just having a catch-up, really.
Yeah,
kind of,
we've not arranged anything.
No.
It was more of a, like, let's have a little throwback. I thought it was a good idea. So
Zaheer, you'll notice Zaheer is all over YouTube at the minute. He's going.
I'm on YouTube so much now. Yeah, but yeah, we could. You never know. We'll leave it open ended.
Yeah. Well, you're always welcome. Yeah. Just give me a shout. Eric, since this is a retro show, where's that damn tank board game? I'm still waiting on it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What's the latest with that?
Too much to do. I've got a finalised board layout.
Okay.
I've been trying to arrange get-togethers with brother-in-law and various people to play it 4-player. And yeah,
I'm interested, like, when it comes to like doing pieces and stuff, like, are you gonna have like Monopoly style movers, or what's the how would you go about?
They've already been designed. Where are the?
So you've done a fair bit of work then. If you've got prototype mover bits.
Really is actually kind of pulling the trigger and saying something's ready. Let's do something with it. I'm not very good with that. So the little tanks would be laser cut out of. Actually, I did some in Perspex.
Okay.
So then, but the main body of the tank is the dice. So that would have 5 crew members in. Depending on how hard you get hit, you would lose X amount of crew members. And then once the last crew member's gone, it's a vacant tank, and you can go and take over.
Someone else can take it over.
Yeah.
Nah, so much thought goes into making it.
So many hilarious rules that just make it like you think you're ahead, and then your opponent gets an airstrike.
Imagine if you're at the next meetup, you could do like a mini play of it, little tournament. That would be amazing.
I was going to take it down this time to get people just kind of play testing it for me. Yeah, talking about that and seeing as Simon's in, I shared I've been doing this pub thing for a while. I'm really not sure I'm going to push that on a big scale because I don't think I've got the time to give to it. But the kind of trade-off with me is that I'm going to concentrate on the board game out of those two things and try and get that somewhere. Even if I just do a little crowdfund and try and get a run of it produced, that would be enough. That would make me happy. But it's all time. I mean, you'll find this. I mean, just juggling Amazon and eBay and YouTube is enough.
Yeah, balancing stuff is not easy. Balancing things is because the thing is, the more time you have, it doesn't necessarily mean you become that much more productive with it. There is like a law of diminishing returns. And I think it's just taken me a while to come to realize that and come to appreciate that I've got to count whatever activities I'm doing during the day. They might not translate into actual listings, but they're still worth there's still things that need to be done and have to be done. So I think that's really helped me recently. Like I used to really beat myself up about how many listings, because it's so easy when you're reselling and selling on eBay, especially, which requires that fresh new listings to come into play. It's so easy to just beat yourself up if you don't get listings done. And I think something that actually that Peter Cummins is doing Vinegar Jar with is list 5 a day. That's a really good way of coping with that, because it's such a manageable and like relatively small number. You can commit to it, and you can make it happen, and it just relieves a lot of pressure, and you then don't feel guilty about doing all the other things that still need to be done. I mean, you still need to test items. I mean, you've done it many times where you take out electronics and you'll spend like a day testing. That's not gonna translate into listings. It will eventually, but on that day you don't want to finish a hard day's work where you've spent ages and ages testing functions on like 10 different bits of electronics just to feel bad about yourself. You don't want to feel bad about yourself. You want to feel, actually, I've done a lot of legwork there, which is going to translate into profit. But it's easy to say that, but to feel like that is a different kettle of fish. And I think that's where doing something like just a 5 listing minimum, or 5 listings, just, or asking yourself just a 5 listing thing is really
You're
good.
right. I think keeping productive, no matter what part of the process you're doing, is key. But you're right. If you base how productive have you been on how many listings you've got, you'll have days, sometimes whole weeks, where you have been productive, but the net result is only a handful of listings.
And then you'll feel bad, and you don't want to feel like that. Bad, yeah. That's something I definitely had to overcome, really, and to think about differently. So
going back to doing the 5 listings thing, I think another reason that's a really good idea is my problem is getting going. And if I have a small target of 5 or even 3 or whatever it is, or just list that one thing, once I'm in it and I'm in the process, I just keep going. It's getting me started. So having a tiny little target, or just to get me tempted in, and then I'm listing and then I'm off, that really works for me. Something to tease me in, to get me started, and then you realize, oh yeah, it's not difficult, and I'm off.
And again, this is where you can pick up stuff from people that have, that may have only more recently started their YouTube channels or their journeys, but they're sharing such amazingly valuable content. Like, I've heard George mention that he sometimes just wakes up and in bed starts listing a couple of items. So he wakes up at 6:30 in the morning and just starts listing. I've spoken to, or I've seen Mandy, she's always flipping, mention that that's like her first task of the day, is to get some listings done and out of the way. And again, obviously Peter Cummins is, he's really keen to just get those 5 done out of the way, so the listing for the day, because if you don't do it first thing, for some people, now this isn't for everyone, and this is the other thing that you have to appreciate, not you, Nick, but I'm just saying in general, that it's never a one size fits all, is it? Like for some people it is going to be imperative, and the only way they're going to be successful is to list first thing in the morning. But for other people, that definitely is not the case. I mean,
I've never done that.
You're not even awake in the morning. I mean,
no, I've never done that. I sometimes will go, the first thing I do normally, if it's packaging day, certainly I start packaging. But the first port of call for me is photography, and I could do hours of photography, and then it's like that. It feels like they're in the bag. All I've got to do is sit here, write a draft, drop the pictures in. So it's that.
I feel exactly the opposite to that. Like, I feel once the drafting is done, I feel that's because then I'm happy to just quickly take photos. That doesn't bother me. Whereas the drafting, it's weird. It's just there's no logic behind that.
No,
for me, but
I think everyone has little mental barriers somewhere in the process that's oh, I really hate photography. Oh, I really hate listing. And you have to kind of trick yourself. It sounds ridiculous, into a process that makes those barriers as small as they can be. And little things have changed and made it much better for me. Sell similar, using the sell similar to the max. Like, find a listing that you really like, sell similar. Before you click sell similar, sometimes just copy their description as well. Copy and paste. So copy that, sell similar, paste it in. obviously change it to suit your item,
Yeah.
and then the specifics are done. The title, you might just want to tweak it a little bit, and then I'm done. And
Yeah.
if it's a good listing and it's sold and it worked for them, why is it not going to work for you? And it relieves a lot of that pressure of keywords. What should I put in? What should I leave out? Well, they listed it. They got top dollar. Copy their listing. It's not.
I think that's like, you know, a lot. I can see a few people in the chat talking about how many listings they like to get done in a day. Like I think Heather says minimum 5 a day to feed the beast, and it's like sometimes it's about when you do it as well. I mean, like Lex has done 50 today, which is incredible.
She's a machine recently. Yeah. Amazing.
But like, it's about how things make you feel, and obviously it depends on your personal business model and what you're listing and that kind of stuff as well. Like for me, sitting in front of a live stream and taking 2 hours to do 5 listings can be worth it, because for whatever reason I know if I don't stay up late at night and do 2 hours of live streaming, I will just go to bed. Like at 10 at night, I'm tired and I just want to, you know, sometimes I just want to go to bed. But if I tell myself, oh, I'll just go and do a live stream, I perk up because I just love doing it. And I'll sit there and it might take me a couple of hours to do like 5 listings or something, but that's 5 listings that I wouldn't have done otherwise. Yeah. And I think that sometimes can be key, you know, and, you know, really it is so much about learning about yourself. This is, isn't it? It really is.
And well, before I go into that, just quickly, because I put this on screen ages ago. Fletchone, is that Fletchone? I don't know how to pronounce that. Just wondering, what is the Ashes DVD joke you do with Andrew at charity shops? Is it like me? I see them all the time. It started because I think we went out one day and I saw it in every damn shop. And then it became a thing with me and Andrea that I'd pretend to give it to her for a birthday in every charity shop. And then the community took it on as a thing because people were finding them and taking pictures of them. And now they always turn up at meetups. And it's just a running joke that no matter...
They're now prizes, aren't they? Sought after prizes. So,
yeah.
Or booby prizes.
How do I take that off? I can't find it again. I'll just highlight another one, take it off.
Yeah.
You never buy 5 things a month to list. I was going to say as well, it's interesting. I did a listing challenge you may have seen with Rod recently, and just that bit of motivation pushed me to be nearer how efficient I potentially could be, you know, nearer the kind of where I potentially could be. And I know that, and I'm well aware of that, but I don't do what I could do. And here's the point. The point I'm trying to make is we all do what we need to do.
Yeah.
And everyone's situation is different. And we work as hard or as not as hard as we do because of the situation we're in. And that is very different for yourself. It's very different for everyone in this chat. And that will inform how much you need to get listed a day or how much you want to get listed a day.
Completely.
There's so many factors in this, and you need to bear that in mind when you watch everyone's channels as well. We're all on a different path in this. We all have different needs financially and personally. I'm trying to get out of this what I'm trying to get out of this, and I'm at a different point in my career as Zaheer is, and everybody else is. And I think sometimes people forget that, and they compare and contrast with themselves and YouTuber to YouTuber. And
I think you've got to be. I think I talked about this recently, and I'm like, it's so good to be able to look at other people and what they're achieving, as long as you're seeing it as long as you're doing it when you're in a good mood. If you're in a good mood and you're in a positive mindset, I personally think there's nothing better than seeing someone smash it completely, because you can then aspire to it. I think it's dangerous when you're feeling down anyway, and you're maybe not feeling great about yourself, and then sometimes the last thing you need to see is someone smashing it out the park, because it can just sometimes just exacerbate how you're feeling already and make you feel worse. But if you're good at being in a positive mindset, I definitely take a lot from seeing other people do well, because it really makes me aspire to do better, no matter what it is. But I think you've got to really be aware of how you're feeling that morning. And you know what, like, sometimes, like when I look, you talk about situations, you're like, the stage you guys are in, the stage we're in, in theory, I should just be busting like a gut every day and doing loads and loads and loads. But the reality of the situation is, because of the situation we're in, sometimes the pressure that you feel can affect how much you get done and how productive you are as well. So again, it's so unique, and you've got to appreciate how you're feeling. And I'm feeling really happy at the moment, simply because I think I'm understanding these things a bit better now. And it sounds really dumb, but you do take a path to this stuff. You don't.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
different with you is we've seen your journey pretty much from inception of reselling, right?
Yeah.
You're going to auctions and being excited about your first haul of this and that, and then the ride from beginning. Whereas everybody came into my journey kind of after I'd had the whole.
Yeah.
We're in a quite a good position. Let's just kind of chill out.
Yeah.
Really,
I think, like, I remember when you started your channel, it was, I mean, I was amongst the very first people, I'm pretty sure, to subscribe and watch and comment and stuff. I remember, because it was so important to me, because I was like, Beck, this guy's doing it, and he's from over here. That was it. It was, because I'd been watching loads of US sellers at the time, and it was just, in a way, like, you guys have got that benefit of being like, yeah, we've got a lot to offer. You guys have got a lot to offer in terms of your experience, and having tried the business in so many different ways, whereas with us, it very much is a diary for ourselves, just as much as it is sharing our journey with everyone. But it is like,
And the other thing I was going to say quickly while I got it in my head, I mean, I've seen you make lots of changes and lots of decisions and then go back on them and come back, and I swear we've had conversations and I've shared my experiences. But it doesn't matter. You can hear someone say, oh, yeah, but you don't want to go down this path because you'll only realize that and then come back. You have to do it yourself. And I think that's what's wonderful about watching both yourself and Beck go through all of these like highs and then realize, no, I don't want to do that, and then change it completely. You have to find out for yourself, though.
Yeah, you do.
And that's what you've been doing. And it's been absolutely fascinating to see.
And also, like, sometimes it's one of those things as well. The beauty of having such a diverse community with so many different channels is, like, sometimes you must have had this as well, where, like, you'll have spoken to someone and they'll have given you a bit of advice, and for whatever reason you've taken it on but you've not acted on it. Then someone else will give you the exact same piece of advice, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's really good, and you'll act on it for some reason. And then the other person will often say, oh, so if I tell you this, it just goes over your head, but then so and so says it. And that's true. That's so true, because you will respond differently to different people. And I feel that that's the beauty of having so much diversity and having so many different channels. You might watch my channel or Nick's channel and take one thing, or not take something at all, but then you might see the same thing on a different channel, the same exact thing, maybe even, but just explained by this different person, and bam, it will click with you. And that's the beauty of it.
But the key there is you have to be receptive to it.
Yeah.
You have to be in a place where you're able to go, okay, I am going to take this advice because this person knows better than me. And I'm terrible at it because I am stubborn. I am single-minded. I'm bloody-minded. And to the point where if people tell me, even if they're doing it in a friendly way, telling me what to do and how to do it, I'll be thinking, no, I'm going to do it my own way and stuff you. And it hasn't helped me in life, really. Yeah, it is. It's a weird one. I don't know.
Gosh.
I'm off to do my tax return.
Oh gosh.
I'm leaving mine to the last minute.
I've actually done mine early this time. Normally I leave mine till the 31st of January, but I've done it. Wow. I haven't paid it, mind. I've just done it. Paying it is a different thing, right? So, I'll put on an accent, says Vinegar Jar. What? Oh, Peter, for some reason, he only listens to his American friends. Oh, okay, I get it.
Oh, Pound Girl. Wish people would stop making vids. I get nothing done.
It's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. But it's so cool, like how the content on YouTube has evolved as well, where now, like, it's so nice to just. I think people have realized that they appreciate a bit of background noise. So like these long streams, like for example, Tommy and Tracy, who can chat for like 6 hours or something. There's so much value in that, whether you're watching it live and working whilst having it on in the background and having a laugh listening to them, or you can during the day, you can find it and have this like long stream where you don't have to worry about the video ending after 10 minutes and then finding a different bit of content.
Well, I think
kind of like a playlist.
I think YouTube itself has evolved from a place where it's all just cat videos and how-to videos. It is genuinely a social media platform now. It's more than just information in videos. It's a place where people come to socialize, like exactly this. And we've got, I don't know, 100 odd people chatting with us live. And that has, I mean, going back to since we started making videos and started doing these chats, these are commonplace now. There was only a handful of us doing these, 3 or 4 years ago. But now, there's somebody going live in our tiny little community. And remember, the reselling community is still a tiny part of YouTube. We're a tiny little forgotten corner of YouTube.
Very small, yeah. Very niche.
Yeah.
It's not going to be to everyone's interest, is it? I mean, it obviously does peak when you get like more kind of hip, younger, big channels going to charity shops and things for fashion. But
Buckle White is hoping to make my YouTube debut on Friday, all being well.
Wait, so is this on Drinking with Andrew or on your own channel, Buckle White? Because Andrew has made it his own mission in life to bring new people on. He had Georgina on earlier today.
I missed that. Was that the chat we were in then?
Yeah, but she was on earlier. Yeah.
Well, if we all go over and sub to you, you'll have to make a video. So I'm just reading the chat.
Yeah, as chat moves very quick.
Patricia, I'm assuming then is in the Netherlands, says, I wish there were more people in the Netherlands who are resellers. Interesting.
I bet there are loads, but maybe they're just not making content yet. I mean, like, one of the recent things has just been, like I said, the not explosion, but the amount of new channels I've become aware of from Australia, which is just incredible. I mean, it's so many cool channels have come from there. The VHS, the Aussie VHS Thrifter. You've got two Aussie thrifters, which Jazz and Brad. You've got Look Mum I'm Hustling, and then on Instagram there's Retro Rescuers. Again, very very young hip couples coming out from Australia.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
They're super cool. They're so cool.
Very young people who are really fancy for their intros and all of that. And we did have an intro, but we've kind of stopped using it now. I don't know.
So complicated.
I'm just repping the old school. I'm just going with it. Yeah, I think you have to, and it took me a while to be just confident in myself and what I do on YouTube. It sounds weird because I've been doing it for so long, but to just do me, because that's all I can do. If you try and force it and be fancy pants when you're not, I think you're probably going to look like a fool.
Andrew, I was saying from Australia, so you're clearly not from Australia. So, hip young couples I was mentioning.
Yeah, there's a couple of elements of that, Andrew, you don't qualify for. Young and a couple. Oh, no, actually, Andrew, is Andrew still seeing, was it Ali? I don't know. Are you coupled up, Andrew? I don't know what's going on there.
Andrew has many wives. That's the official line, I think. Many future wives, apparently. That's what it is.
Yes, that's right.
Many future wives.
Hold on, Eric. Young and hip people, Zaheer and Nick, are more old and broker hip.
Well, we have our own audience then, My hip's fine, thank you. It's managing to hold this weight just fine. Kim says oldies are the best. Yeah, that's it.
That's damn right. Yeah, we have our own demographic.
Exactly. I apparently I have 0%, 0 to 13 viewership on the channel.
I
Zero
think
percent.
mine's very similar. Yeah. Josh is young but not hip. Yeah, I'll give you that, Josh.
I thought Josh was pretty cool. Is that not? Yeah,
Wow.
maybe that means he's not cool because I thought he was cool. So clearly that must mean
That's it.
yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
if you're cool, Josh, you've lost it.
Then you're yeah. But you are young. That's not you can't deny that.
He's not cool, but he's so pretty. And about 12 years old, I'm informed.
You'd hope not with that kind of behaviour. I mean, that's pretty out of control for a 12-year-old.
Did you say Z broke his hip falling in the bin? That's never going to go away, that is it?
It's not even. I can't even. Not really.
Nathan Banks, hello. Nick Anza here. What advice would you give to someone in reselling wanting to try YouTube but lacking confidence? I would say give it a go, which sounds very glib and easy to say. I would say do this. Go and look at my oldest videos and see how crap they are, see how nervous I am, see how stumbling I am and how terrible the quality is. And then tell yourself not to worry about the quality of the video. Worry about, if anything, the content. Talk about something interesting, talk about yourself, make it about you, and then worry about everything else later. Just put a video out and see what happens. I don't know.
And just bear in mind as well that look at this very live stream. It's a couple of guys sat in their kind of shed type rooms with a bunch of tap everywhere, you know, looking kind of disheveled and tired. It's been a long day, and we're just chatting about stuff we sell on eBay, and we've got a community, you know, which is appreciative of it. There is something for everybody, and don't put things into context. There will guaranteed be someone out there that will just think you're fantastic, and that's hard to. There's a fine line in between thinking that your ish doesn't smell, but also thinking or appreciating that or just believing that there will be someone out there that will actually enjoy you for you in every way. And I think that's the fine line you have to tread on, which is don't start, you know, thinking that that's it. You know, you don't have to be fake confident and be like, oh, I've got to be like this. You don't have to put an image on. You can just be yourself, and you've got to believe that there will be people out there that are literally going to be happy to receive you as you. I mean, just look at this.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be anything. If you look back at both of our channels, there's very
nothing fancy about.
There's very little bells and whistles in there, but I guess what we both did right was we shared enough of ourselves and our personality and our story, whatever that may be, good, bad, or indifferent. We share it, or we try to. Zaheer is much better at sharing the ups and downs than I am. But yeah, just put yourself out there. And as Andrew says below, Money Mental, if I can do YouTube, anyone can. Go and watch a bunch of Andrew's videos and say, okay, he's set the bar. I can achieve that.
I mean, I love I absolutely love how now you can start a show with, you know, something with Andrew. Like with Andrew has now become its own thing, and then you can literally do anything with Andrew, and it's a show. I mean, Tea with Andrew was genius.
Indeed. Alexis, you guys are great. I was hecka nervous my first vid, and I wish I had this pep talk before I started. We all were nervous to begin with because you don't know. It's a weird concept that takes quite a while to get used to, I'll be honest, thinking that people are going to watch it. And then when you take a step into this live realm, that takes a bunch until you get comfortable with this. But yeah, you just have to kind of face the fear and do it. What's the worst that can happen? That's one of my little mantras. What's the worst that can happen?
And if there's like a number one practical tip, and I would say the most important thing is actually practicing to look at that little camera. That's really difficult. because it's so tempting to just look at who you're talking to on the screen, and that's yeah.
I never look at the little camera bit. I don't even know it's up there somewhere.
When you're talking to, you gotta look at the camera. I honestly think that's the Peter says I never look at, or look in a certain spot so it looks like you're looking at the camera. Then Peter, something so pedantic.
I suppose if I had to boil it down to one thing, if someone's thinking about doing a YouTube channel, is just be honest and be you and share as much as you're comfortable about yourself. It does, in the end, and I firmly believe it does boil down to the stuff. We're here to find out about stuff, and we're interested in the stuff and making money. But if you can put in a little bit that you're comfortable sharing about you and your story, where you are, how you got into it, all of that, kind of filter that in, that hooks people in and they get to know you, and then they will stay, I think.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Definitely. Yeah. Never look at
it's his eye contact when he is eating.
I did that once. I'm pretty sure I only did that once. I think it was during a sales video. For anyone that actually watched through it, they would have just seen me eating some crisps or something. Silly.
There's a thin line with eating your dinner, and I struggle with kind of dinner with Andrew or whatever those are called. When you get eating noises in the street, I'm off. I'm afraid I'm
too much.
Too much. We can overshare.
Are mukbangs a thing, though, Nick? You know, people love
not
mukbang.
For me, it's not.
Mukbang is a huge market.
I think Fat Girl Sewing has nailed it there. I just don't worry about if my videos are good or not. I just do them. Someday I might try to make better ones, but right now I'm just getting used to it. Yes, 100%. Yeah, and you're not going to start and be brilliant at it.
That's really good advice. I mean, like one of the coolest things I think that's for me that's come out of this whole YouTube thing as well is the confidence I've seen it bring out in Beck as well. Like if you'd said to me, I actually said this to Rebecca like yesterday, I said just like 4 or 5 years ago, it would never have even been like, I would never ever have thought she would be confident enough to put out a video on her own. She just wouldn't. That's such an alien concept, like knowing her as I do, and to see that she is actually confident enough now to do that, it just shows. YouTube is an amazing thing, honestly, guys. It is. What it can do for you, just for your confidence and just for your well-being, and it sounds crazy, but I mean, I just feel blessed that we're in this crazy world where we're all given a little space of the internet, and we pretty much can broadcast our own content. It just absolutely just it blows my mind. And I think I said this the other night where I'm like, I feel we are luckier than kids that have been born after the internet was already a thing. I love the fact that I know what life was like without it. Because it just allows me to appreciate it infinitely more. Like my kids, they were born with broadband, and I feel bad for them.
So the point is, I think that they take it for granted. So you're not that amazed by it and wanting to use it to its potential. And I think, like you say, I remember the first mobile phones coming out and that being, wow, I can play Snake on my phone and all that.
Yeah.
And to now be able to live stream to the world on my phone is, you're totally right. It is amazing technology. Nathan says, thanks for the advice. No problem at all. Bucklewise asking, what is a mukbang?
It's where people eat on stream for the viewer's pleasure. Not necessarily, you don't have to eat like in a seductive way. You just eat your food on stream. And some people enjoy it. And what other comments? I've seen so many comments coming. Wow.
So, You were saying that you're going on Ronnie Hart's stream. Is that just yourself and him for a chat, or
Yeah, no, Ronnie's coming onto my channel.
Oh, your channel. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, just for a chat, really. Yeah, just to. I've kind of given it like a loose theme about average selling prices because that's always been something I've talked about for absolutely years now, it seems, and I don't think I've ever been able to crack it because I think it's really easy to get to like a like a £30 type selling price average, but I think to maintain to get to a higher average selling price and maintain it, I think it's quite difficult. And I think that I know obviously George does it, Craigslist Hunter Pete does it regularly, and Ronnie is someone that I've known that's done that regularly and with clothes. I mean the ability to do that I think is, it's not easy to do, to maintain such a high average selling price. So maybe that's going to be like a loose thing that we're going to kind of peg the chat around, I think, because he's got so much to offer.
He is somebody who is renowned for being an expert in a couple of niches, and that would be really interesting to hear. I mean, we chatted to him, must be 2 years ago now, on this kind of Tat Chat show. Yeah, he was a fascinating guy to talk to then.
He's so good at just spotting the right items, and he gets the money for them, and he doesn't have a huge inventory, and I think it's one of those things that it seems so obvious in everyone wants that, like everyone wants a relatively smallish inventory and to be able to make a lot of money from it, but it's kind of like a holy grail, and I think it's a lot more difficult to achieve than people realize because the small items are so attractive, aren't they? Like when you see something like, I picked these tapes up because of you. I was like next to, and it's only £1, but it's only going to return me about 15, which is good profit. But obviously, when you're trying to do this whole average selling price thing, it's not the right kind of item to pick up. But it's so hard to leave behind. Like I saw it, I was like, I can easily sell that 15 plus shipping. It's only £1. How am I meant to leave that behind? How?
Yeah, and I still don't think you could because. Yeah. You only need 10 of those, which are quite small. You've got very low investment in it, and you sell all 10, and that's 150 quid.
Exactly.
So the equivalent of one big ticket item.
But you look at people like George, and you look at people like Pete and Ronnie, and they obviously have a completely different business model to that, which I can appreciate, and I think it's just super cool.
I was just going to highlight, and it's gone. Oh man! Oh, there we go.
The chat's crazy.
Kirsten is in. Says, "I love this reselling community. Such a vast selection of people all coming together with a common interest." Yeah, that's basically what we've managed to achieve, all of us together. Not just the YouTubers, but obviously the viewers. That there's so many people that don't have a channel, but you'll see them in everyone's chats.
It's the community that makes it, isn't it?
It's those people that hold the community together, commenting and supporting and making us feel that it's worth putting content out, because without an audience, we're just banging on to ourselves.
Well, channels come and go, don't they? It's the community that's always going to be there. It's like the viewers and the people in chat that make this so much fun and make it so exciting. I mean, can't believe it's already been over. I'm not just saying that, but I'm just like, look, an hour's just gone, and we could carry on.
Jeez,
I know. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, and that's because of the vibe you get from the chat, because of the the interaction. It's just amazing. It's mind blowing.
I know, and we didn't even have a topic.
Yeah. Oh, that stopped a long time ago. I remember when we used to come up with a topic every week, and then then the messages started to get, have you thought of anything? Nah. Have you thought of anything? Nah. We should wing it.
Let's say a couple of years, and to be honest, but for most of that time, it would be like, and we'd go live at 6, so about 5:30. It would be, is it on your channel or mine? Yeah. And then it'd be, don't know. Hold on. On mine. Let me check. Have you got an idea for a chat? No. Have you? No. Should we just wing it? Yes. Right.
That was verbatim. That's verbatim, guys.
That's the level of, and this was like kind of in the UK the kind of go-to reselling hangout show. Planning.
Just yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
we did have topics now and again.
We did in the beginning. I think we did. We did have plenty of topics.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
I just in reflecting on what we were saying about £150 item or £10, £15 items, yes, but you need to sell all 10 of those type of items each day, which means that you have to list 10 of those items, and Zaheer doesn't have the work ethic to do that.
yeah, I think that's been well established, Kevin. I think that's the issue. I've got to have a mixture of both. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's such an interesting topic because, like, especially with the average selling prices versus the lots of bread and butter items, because it
is an interesting one, but I don't know. It
to
never
you
really,
it's pretty clear cut, isn't it? Like
it never
you kind
troubles me. I will buy it if it's there and it makes me money.
yeah.
And that means I have, I just sold that £50 bagatelle thing, but I've also sold a cassette for £4. It's like, and it's all the same to me.
I think over time that's what I've now come around to also feel now, because I just find it difficult, knowing that something is. I find it difficult to just leave it. I would love to have a higher average selling price. Absolutely love to, but I don't.
Interesting because we're planning in January to, at least with my inventory, start shipping it all up to the Habu fulfillment thing. And I will be interested to see, because I think that will naturally force me into an higher average selling price, because I'm not going to be wanting to send up media that has very little value in it. Or maybe I will, I don't know. So that'll be interesting to see if that tweaks how I do things. I've just highlighted John's Salty Dog Pickers comment. Hi guys, I've been selling part-time for a few years, but since my son introduced me to YouTube and I found your channels, I've learned so much more. Thank you. Well, there you go. That's what it's all about. If we can help some people whilst talking randomly on it's a bonus. Okay, we'll read out a few more and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah.
Question: I bought some blow-up dolls that appear to self-inflate. Is this an only Fools and Horses reference?
I think so. Yes.
It turns out the factory burnt down and they are hooky.
Do you happen to have any Batman and Robin costumes to go with those?
I cannot advise you on inflatable dolls. Tracy's had to run. We'll watch back later.
Yeah. No worries.
What's HAG? Oh, have a good day.
Have a good day. Acronyms.
Yeah. It has been great going back to YouTube and people coming and going. It has been fascinating to watch, Tracy and Tommy make their mark on the community, and from out of nowhere. And I'm sure it wasn't, but it felt like it's from out of nowhere.
I just
think funny to watch.
They are. I think again they're a great example of being yourself. Like Andrew, great example of being yourself. It's such a, like you said, it was a glib thing to say, but it's not easy to do, and that's why it's worth always saying. So when someone asks for advice to do YouTube, I think it is great advice because it's not easy to do. It's not
easy if you attempt to do YouTube to feel that you have to be something, or you have to be something in comparison to what's over there, or you have to do things in a certain way because you can script
if you're pretending, you can script things, and I think in a way that's easier to learn a script, or to like if you wanted to come online and just be and you had like already in your head what you wanted to portray, it's easier. But it's when you go online and you're like you said, you sit in front of the camera and you go live and you're like, now what? That's
exactly. Cola Flipper, who we met at the meetup, says Habu is working for me. And I'm looking forward to really going for that and sending a variety of stuff up. But we're waiting till after Christmas is the plan. Right, let's get down to the end. Are we there yet?
There's one other question we can answer, I think, and then call it a night. Craig Hutchison says, what's the best thing you've made money on, both of you?
Oh, that old chestnut.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Beck and I, a couple of years ago went down south and picked up a bunch of model radio control car parts, and we spent, I think it was like 2 or 3 grand in total, and we have made tens and tens of times of that, and it's still selling to this day, and that's definitely by a country mile, the thing that we made money on most. So like a job lot of model car parts.
Yeah. Well, in fact, if I could echo that with thinking about it, I mean, obviously, I've shared that one item that made us loads, but
Yeah.
thinking about in terms of pickup, our car parts hall,
Yeah.
real car parts here.
Not model, not Troy's.
That will end up, and we're still so far from the end of that, as you are with your
Yeah.
haul. It's like, how far will this keep going? And just yesterday, we sold a tiny part. I'll show you it actually.
Yeah.
I've got a crate in front of me. This is what I'm currently working on. I've just grabbed the load, and I picked out this from it like about a week ago. Listed it for 200. Had an offer of 150. I couldn't accept that quick enough. It's like, it's a reverse camera. That's all it is.
Amazing.
£150. This is the guy who couldn't work out how to pay, but we waited, and he managed to figure it out. So.
See, I think that's definitely that's crazy.
£3,000 or £4,000 we invested, and by the time it's all gone through, we'll be up 20 or 30 grand. Imagine.
So, if there's anything to take from that, look out for job lots.
Yeah, seriously, put yourselves out there, because there are auctions going on every day. And if you are able to store stuff and buy job lot, I mean, this gets into a whole other.
It's daunting, isn't it? It's daunting. But yeah, this is like a whole other topic. This could be like a chat on its own. It's very daunting to deal with. But yeah, that's been by a country mile, I think, for us the best thing we've ever done in reselling. Yeah,
I mean, both of us in the instances we've just talked about, we had the kind of balls to do it, and I remember you messaging me at the time going, Nick, I found this, and it's massive. I'd be like, shall I what am I doing? I don't know.
Sounds so funny.
I think we had a phone call chat. Nick, I don't know what I'm like, do it buy it now. I'll buy it,
buy it. Yeah.
But yeah, having the nerve to go all in and kind of put everything on the line for a haul generally pays off. I'm sure it's backfired sometimes for people, but not in my case.
No.
Yeah. Right. Let's draw a line under that there. I'll just highlight this as a little end one. The lovely Kirsten has says, loved this retro chat. Thanks. Hats off to anyone who does lives. I'm not brave enough to do my own. Yeah.
In time. But yeah, thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks to here. We'll schedule another one for
definitely
sometime in the future.
Yeah, well, definitely we'll do it. We'll do it again. It's been a lot of fun. It's great to see so many people in the chat enjoying it as well. And we'll just create much bigger gaps in between them. Yeah, we'll have something more to talk about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at some point in the future, we'll do it on Zaheer's channel next. Couldn't tell you when.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this.
See you later.
Take care, everyone.